I see a lot of you same fans like shit on fans of other pop artists because you're like, they're not as deep as Taylor. But now you're over here being like, wait, so I can't just enjoy music. And it's like, look, no one's saying you can't just enjoy music, but you also have to be okay with people not liking a fucking album, with people pointing out also why they don't like the album, why it's not, it's not doing it for them. The other thing too is like these lyrics in this song ain't working with the piano vibe, with the slow kind of melodic sound. No, I'm not listening to the whole album. I'm just pointing some stuff out. And sometimes there are words that, okay, how do I explain this? Actually, I saw somebody else describe it in a way that I think I can't describe better. Sometimes a lot of times when Taylor Swift curses or when she talks about sex, it feels like a Mormon saying a swear word for the first time, because Taylor, for a lot of her career, has been very prim and proper, because she, I would say one issue that I'm seeing, a glaring issue that I'm seeing, especially with this album, is a bit of Arrested Development, where Taylor has been famous since she was 15 years old. And so a lot of things that she would have learned or how she would have developed didn't happen the way it would for most people, because she's been in the spotlight for so long, because she has been, it's like she has a very carefully crafted image. I think another major problem on the album is it's so random. Okay, there's no cohesive storytelling. There is no really rhyme or reason. It sounds like she's just kind of trying to do what she's always done on past albums, but it's really like sticky. It just it feels it just doesn't really make much sense. And thematically, I don't get it. And before anyone's like, when she's talking about a showgirl, she means herself. Well, I think the problem maybe is that there's not enough anymore about Taylor Swift to keep writing songs, like trying to take content from her own life. I think what else is there? And so I think it could, and I said this when I was watching Cutie, I said this in her chat, like Taylor Swift is not the first pop girl to do a theme like this. Okay. Nicki Minaj, Jesus Christ. Sorry to my queen, Kylie. Kylie Minogue had an entire Showgirl tour, which was her 8th concert tour. And it was Showgirl, the greatest hits. Miley in her latest album just had a bit of a Showgirl vibe. So this is a recurring theme. And I think Taylor is in such a unique position of having been famous for 20 years. She's at this point where it's not that she's not washed up. She's more famous than she's ever been, like truly has climbed the mountain. And instead of like, I don't know, reflecting on just more interesting stuff, like being now a 30-something woman, and maybe, everything else around her has changed, but she doesn't feel like, whatever it is, okay, whatever she gets into, there's just no realizations here. There's no like maturing here. There's no really reflecting back on her life and her career. And instead, it just feels a lot like she's still in high school. She feels like the girl you went to high school with who never left the town you grew up in and is just peaked in high school. If Taylor Swift wrote these lyrics, that's really bad. If ChatGPT did it, that's really, really bad. But if Travis did it, I'm kind of proud of him. I was thinking that too. I was like, what if Travis is an uncredited writer on the album? What if Travis like actually gave a lot of input, which is why a lot of the lyrics and songs sound the way that they do. but I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage. It just doesn't work. Do you think she wrote about apathy and meme trolls just because she's concerned about the rise in shootings in the age? No, girl, you're no, this is about her. Okay, and then here is the song about Travis Kelce. Can I say, and I've seen this take a lot, so this is not like just solely an original take from me. I saw a lot of people, including Swifties, say a lot of this album sounds like when people make fun of Taylor Swift songs, when they do like a parody of Taylor Swift music, it's what it sounds like. And I saw a lot of her fans being like, how are we supposed to push back on that when we have this album now? Where it really does sound like somebody who's doing a parody of a Taylor Swift album. Also, it kind of seems like maybe she's trying to imbibe a little bit of Sabrina, but like the reason that it works for Sabrina is because Sabrina's like, she's fun with it. She's not afraid to like sing, be cheeky and have a twinkle in her eye and be horny. And Sabrina is very camp. Like Sabrina embraces the camp. And so if you're going with this kind of vibe, I think you have to just go for it. And honestly, the lyrics here feel like this feels ChatGPT generated. It does. Forgive me, it sounds cocky. He amatized me and opened my eyes. Redwood tree, it ain't hard to see. His love was the key that opened my eyes. Just say penis, you can't. My eyes. Also, they'll defend one of the lyrics coming from a Twitter joke, the Redwood part. It's like, okay, but I shouldn't have to know about a tweet to find a lyric good. It should stand on its own. Yeah, you shouldn't have like you shouldn't need to have inside baseball knowledge for something to work. Like this is just lyrically very juvenile. Maybe Travis Kelce is not the muse that she needs, but it's the one that she ended up with. And I do fear for Taylor Swift fans like Cutie, who don't care about her personal life. Cutie does not care about Travis Kelce. She's not invested in that. And she also does not like the songs that she has written about Travis Kelce. I fear that now that Taylor is settling down, she is no longer with these like wispy, dramatic British boys who she's writing about on like Folklore and, you know, Evermore, etc. Now she's got the captain of the football team, right? She's got the captain of the football team who's got a big penis. At this point, you might as well just take Travis Kelce's tweets. You know, you might as well throw squirrel up in there. Hashtag haha. I mean, is that any different than girl bossing too close to the sun? The other thing is, I don't understand this. Like, when Hollywood hates me, this doesn't make any sense. This almost feels like kind of a fantasy of being an underdog, which I think is also a problem that Taylor continues to have. She's not an underdog. She's not. She's the biggest pop star in the world. She can do anything she wants in Hollywood. A lot of people love Taylor Swift. She could talk about like how it does feel to be number one and like the pressure of having to sustain that, and where do you go when you're at the top, right? Like, where do you go when you have reached the top? If you're going to flaunt designer, you have to be yeah, like Cartier and Gucci. Come on. She has 2 diss tracks, but the one that everyone's talking about is Actually Romantic. Taylor describes Actually Romantic in the life of a Showgirl theater event. Actually Romantic is a love letter to someone who hates you. Sometimes you don't know that you're a part of someone else's story, but you are. And then it's revealed to you through things they do. It's very overt. As I've gotten older, I've started to be like, oh my God, you've done so much with this. It's flattering. I don't hate you. I don't think about this, but thank you for all the effort. Honestly, wow, that's very sweet of you that you think about it this much, even if it's negative. In my industry, attention is attention, and you're giving me a lot of it. Taylor is an artist who absolutely cares. And we know she cares because she writes a lot of music about how much she cares. So for her to say like, oh, I don't even think about you. Oh, like this is so sweet how much you think about me. I really don't care. You do care. You're Taylor Swift. That's kind of the it's kind of the epitome is like you caring about this kind of stuff. Okay, so she says, wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. Some people might be offended, but it's actually sweet. If this is about sympathy, I think Taylor just completely misunderstood the song. I think she just totally misinterpreted it. Charlie doesn't need Coke to call her boring. The other thing is, it's like, really, girl, really? You're telling me that Brittany Mahomes ain't out here doing lines of Coke? You haven't done Coke? Really? I have a hard time believing that. It's just something about the like almost judgment, the kind of puritanical judgment about the cocaine when it's like, come on. Oh my God. And also Charlie, the vinyl on the album cover had cocaine on it. That's not even an insult to Charlie to be like, oh, are you doing coke? Charlie had cocaine be a part of her aesthetic. She literally put cocaine on the vinyl on the cover of Brat. There's no way you can try and insult her by being like, how's that coke going up your nose? I think she didn't misinterpret it. I think she just wanted to create fake beef. I mean, I will say, like, music wise, I think this is one of the better songs. So maybe she should thank Charlie. Maybe she should thank her that this is actually one of the catchier songs on the album. Okay, like I said, it's like when a Mormon says a swear word for the first time. Taylor's saying it's kind of making me wet. She doesn't have that energy. She is not the type of artist who can sing the line, it's kind of making me wet, and it doesn't make you cringe a little. Like, it just, Charlie could sing that line because that's Charlie's vibe. She put fucking cocaine on a vinyl, okay? But Taylor, because she, and also, you know, a lot of like Taylor Swift fans, there's this very kind of prim and puritanical, like good girl type of thing. These words just feel inauthentic coming from Taylor. This is crazy. So the Rolling Stone review gave it 100, 5 out of 5 stars. Review, Taylor Swift conquers her biggest stage ever, which is why it's also hilarious to be like, Hollywood hates me. If you went to Rolling Stone's homepage, front and center, the biggest story, Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl, 5 stars. And remember the other day when I talked about the state of music criticism, my concerns about how a lot of music criticism now feels it feels just like marketing, and it feels like pandering, and it feels often like they just get people who are biased fans to write these pieces, and how they don't have the bite that they used to have. I mean, this is crazy. That's like, look, maybe you like the album, but really 5 out of 5 stars. Just perfect. Really? How is this even possible? Irish Times, you can't be serious with these scores. 100. Perfect score from Irish Times. Something Beautiful, Miley Cyrus's latest album, 40. Mayhem, Lady Gaga's latest album, 40. I also saw that initially I think Variety had given 100, and then it was at like 92. Apparently they let a fan do the review. Oh, that's not surprising at all. Like, that's how it's how it feels a lot of these publications. Like, this is Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone magazine. And this is the type of review that we're getting. Caroline, do you even listen to Taylor Swift? Why are we doing this? Well, one, because I'm a pop culture commentator and Taylor Swift is the #1 pop artist in the world. She's the biggest pop artist. When a Taylor Swift album comes out, it's always a major conversation. I listen to some Taylor Swift songs. I'm not like a major Taylor Swift fan, but I talk about like big moments that are happening in pop culture, which every time Taylor puts out an album, it's going to be that. The other thing too with the lyrics, in 2025, people who are using the term girl boss, it's only with irony. And if it's not, then it's embarrassing. Like nobody says this anymore. And I think Taylor, the problem with trying to also always be trendy is that the trends are always changing and changing very quickly. The slang that people use on the internet is fast moving. Phrases and words that had a moment, like even saying brat, right? Last year calling things brat was a moment. And now, people wouldn't really say that. They would say it cheekily. They would say it with like irony. Kamala Harris killed brat. I don't think Taylor Swift actually understands what being canceled is, which makes this like she's trying to there's kind of there's like a villain quality to this that again, I think is harkening back to Reputation, but it's really strange because I don't think she understands what cancellation is. Like scandal is not the same thing as cancellation. And then also like, what has she been caught up in lately? Like I said, we are so far removed from the Kanye, Kim, Taylor era. Maybe she's not online enough to be part of the culture. I mean, I jokingly said in Cutie's chat, I'm like, maybe she needs to be more chronically online. That way she wouldn't be using lingo from like 10 years ago, or she would not be trying to use these buzzwords, but in a non-ironic way. It's about Blake Lively. Maybe. I mean, considering that Taylor has not said anything about Blake Lively, right? Like when the lawsuits between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni started to intensify and multiply, Taylor Swift did distance herself from it. Now, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know if that was like Blake Lively going, you don't want to be a part of this, or Taylor being like, I don't want to be a part of this. But Taylor has always been one of the most scandal-averse public figures to begin with. That's what's confusing here too. Taylor Swift avoids scandals like the plague. If we're going to do a Showgirl album, I don't think Taylor was ready. I think it shouldn't have been rushed like this. I think more time and thought should have been put into it as a real, like, not a final bow at the end of the show signaling like it's over. It's not like the last Showgirl type vibes, like an aging Showgirl who's reflecting upon like just how much things have changed. But it's a concept that has been done before. It has been done way better. And I think Taylor she could have done so much more.